Well, man, welcome. Ryan Stewman, how's it going, brother? Nice to, I know we haven't had a big chance to chat. I remember you hit me up a while ago with Funnelytics and you're like, how can I help and stuff? And you have no idea, like because I've looked up to you for a long time. So like just getting that message from you was like instant validation that like, all right, I must be doing something right, at least with this product. So thank you for joining us on this call. My everyone in the Funnelytics group is going to get so much value from you. So just very quickly, if people don't know who you are, drop it on them.
Well, hey, first of all, I thought you had a really cool product, and I signed up for it and I was using it. It's like, who owns this? And so that's like how I connected with you, and I appreciate you having me on here. My whole goal with being here is to give and not to take. So I'm here to, share some wisdom, share some experience and stuff like that with your people. I've got many areas of experience, which means that I'm an expert in a lot of things because I've been into a lot of shit in my lifetime. And I just appreciate you bringing me on. For those of you that don't know me, which is probably most of you that are in this group, I write books, I publish books, and I have a blog post, and I teach people on sales and business and life and pretty much everything that you need to master something on this planet called the force of average. You see, I wasn't born with a silver spoon up my ass. I didn't go to some Ivy League college. I didn't come from upper class parents. I grew up in a lower middle class neighborhood and eventually wound up in the hood, in the lowest of classes of neighborhoods, and then lost my freedom. Like most people that grow up poor, we make poor decisions because poor is not a financial state, poor is a mental state. So I made poor decisions. I made a decision to sell drugs, ended up having a heart attack, going to prison for selling drugs, and ended up doing a couple of years in prison for drugs. And when I got out, I told myself that was not the place for me. First of all, I was like, that is not the place for me, and I'm not going back there, right? And I got a job at a car wash, which is, again, a poor thinking person. Like, at least I have a job. I worked for roughly about $12.50 an hour by the time that I had worked my way up the ladder. I started off working there for $7.50 an hour. And one day, a lady came in that was a regular customer and offered me a job in finance. And I kind of laughed, and I was like, I've been to prison and I don't even have a credit card. And like, how the hell am I going to teach people about finance? And she's like, well, you've been to prison, huh? And you work really hard here. You'd probably be a great fit. And she's like, what's the worst case scenario? You quit this car wash, it fails with me, and then they're going to give you your job back. They hired you out of prison. They're going to give you your job back. And I'm like, okay, that you got a point, lady. And so I put in my resignation effective immediately. I went to work for her that Monday. I showed up we're in an office where everybody's wearing like khakis, looking like Jake from State Farm and shit like that. And I show up in like work boots and a button-up shirt I'd bought from Bell's the weekend before for about $10. And man, I thought I was like the shit, you know what I mean? It's like, look at me, and then I look around, they're wearing like Versace and all this other stuff, man. I didn't even know how to say that at the time. And that first week, I went and I was with some friends of mine that were watching the Ohio State-Michigan game at their parents' house. I was about 23 at the time. And we always went there every year for the Ohio State-Michigan game. And I noticed, I was like, man, y'all have lived in this house for a long time. I got a new job, and they mentioned something called a refinance. I'm not sure what it means, but have you guys ever done that? And really what I was doing is I was looking for them to tell me about my job and how it worked so that I didn't look stupid in front of the people that I worked with, right? And they're like, well, we have bad credit. We're not able to do that. And I was like, well, I heard them say this week that bad credit's not a thing. And I was just wondering if you guys ever did it. And they're like, what do you mean bad credit's not a thing? I was like, I'm pretty sure they just give everybody loans, this place I work at. And they're like, well, do you think you could get us a loan? And I was like, oh shit, that wasn't what I meant. I didn't let them know that, but I'm like, it's subconsciously, I'm like, oh shit, yeah. Well, what I'll do is I'll talk to my boss and I don't know how the hell it works. I was just honest when I was like, I was just washing your car last week, so I have no clue how this shit works. But I'll talk to my boss and see. So that Monday, the game was Saturday. It's college football. The game was Saturday. That Monday, I met them at their house on an application, and I called the lady on the phone and was asking her what everything meant on there as I filled out this application. Now, at this point in my career, I don't know what happened once I turned that application in, but 3 weeks later, that application turned into $8,600 for me. And I mean, fuck, dude, I was like Bill Gates at that moment. Like I was, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like I went from working cents an hour to all of a sudden within a month making $8,600. Like, dude, you'd like call me a retirement counselor. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? And Like 2 weeks later, a dude that mowed the lawn for the car wash calls me up and says, hey man, I was at the car wash. I noticed you weren't there. They said you're working in mortgages. You think you can get me a loan? We're buying a $700,000 home. I end up making $14,000 3 weeks later on that one. So I'm sitting at like $22,000, $23,000 in like a month and a half of time working on this job. And I was like, dude, I put blinders on, man. I started learning everything about it. And I started like paying attention. The next thing you know, I'm out producing everybody else in the office. I have my own branch. I'm speaking at real estate seminars. I'm on top of the world. And about 2 years later, I own 35 houses and I'm working from home. I got people coming by, paying me rent, picking up commission checks, dropping off packages of applications. The cops thought I was selling dope again. Kicked in my door. There was no dope in the house, obviously. Dude, kicked in my door, looked for dope, had a search warrant. There was no drugs in the house, but I had guns that were banned. Back when I bought them, they were legal. But they were banned through some fucking stupid law that George W. Bush, it's not even legal anymore to own those guns. They were just illegal for like Bill Clinton, and then George Bush extended it, and then it just kind of went away. No, Obama and Trump never put it back into action. And so anyway, long story short, I beat the case. And when I beat the case, they turned me over to the ATF. Nobody's beating federal cases. Those guys have a 99% conviction rate, and they were going to give me 20 years. And and I'm like, 20 years? You guys fucked up. How am I going to get 20 years behind the local police making an assumption that turned out wasn't true, and they just look for anything to stick on me? Like, we don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that you're just another number to us. Doesn't matter. But the lawyer that I had was a black dude, and this is important that I say this. He was a black dude from South Dallas. His office was on the corner of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X Boulevard. I don't give a shit where you live in America. That is a shitty part of town, right? But I go and I hire this guy because he's like this very big, intimidating looking fella. And we became very good friends throughout the process. I refinanced his house. His wife owned a title company. I sent him a lot of business, anything I could do to like help relieve the lawyer fees of fighting the federal government, because it adds up quick. Well, right. about halfway through my case, he calls me in with about 6 of his advisors, and he says, I'm going to run for district attorney in Dallas County. And they were dead serious. And I didn't want to be like, I was the only white dude in the room. And I was like, that's a great idea, Craig. I'll support you 100%. But you realize that nobody has ever been a Democrat and been district attorney or a judge in Dallas ever in the history of the city or the county. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, none of them have been black. I'm just saying the odds are kind of stacked against you. But if it can keep my ass out of prison, I'm all for it, man. Let's go, baby. And I go, so how much money did we raise? And he's like, we got like $3,000. And I'm like, damn, man. All right, well, what do we do with $3,000? So we put this plan together to start busing people from the hood into the voter polls, man. And the dude against us had $3 million. We ended up raising about $30,000 when it was all said and done. The dude we ran against had $3 million, and he was like the incumbent, like he was the ADA that was supposed to move up into being the district attorney. Craig was a criminal defense attorney, so he wasn't even in the office. You know what I mean? And there was like this white dude who was Republican, who was been groomed by the DA, was a shoo-in to win the election, and we won by a fucking landslide. Craig became the first black Democratic district attorney in the history of Dallas County, still the only one to this day. And wow. He turned around to the feds and he said, now, if you guys want stuff from me, I need you to there was 3 of us. He said, I need you to go easy on these guys. I'll vouch for them. They're good dudes. I happen to be one of those 3 guys. They lowered my sentence from 20 years to 15 months, but I did have to go back to federal prison. I walked into federal prison a millionaire, and I walked out divorced and with $25 to my name, because when you leave federal prison, they only give you a $25 check if you're indigent, which means you don't have any money. So wow. I walked out with $25 to my name, moved into a halfway house, and my wife divorced me. Bitch didn't even leave me socks and boxers. You know what I mean? I went to the storage facility and it was empty, man. There was a friend of mine owned storage facility, so he gave me a free deal. She wiped it out, man. I didn't even have anything to wipe my ass with. Lived in a halfway house. My adopted parents brought me some of their hand-me-down clothes to wear in public. I took public transportation on bus passes the halfway house provided and everything else. But once I got out of the halfway house, I convinced the mortgage bank to give me a job, the largest mortgage bank in the state of Texas, to give me a job. And I was in there for like 4 hours, right? The dude must have told me, no, you can't work here, like at least 1,000 times. And I'm like, no, man, listen, you don't understand, blah, blah, blah. Just kept on. He goes, fine, you can have the job. Within about a month, I became the top producer in the company. 2009, I got out in July of 2008. 2009, I made $300,000. 2010, Obama passed the Dodd-Frank Act. That means, and it took, part of the Dodd-Frank was it took mortgage licenses from being regulated on a state level to a federal level. I'm a federal felon on federal parole at the time, and it's called probation with them, but it's basically parole. It's their version of parole, and they wouldn't give me a license. So here I am, on top of the world, down, on top of the world, down. And I didn't know what the hell to do. And one of my real estate friends said, you need to meet this guy, Frank Kern, and get into internet marketing. You need to be teaching people how to do mortgages the way that you did, because you crushed it in a down economy. And I'm like, nobody want to listen to me. And he's like, no, dude, you should totally do this. And I watched a video from Frank Kern, and it kind of opened my mind to this internet marketing business. And I ended up buying one of his products and got into it, started making a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there, and lost a little money and rode this wave. And finally, like, I nailed it, after a couple of years, and I took odd jobs to make ends meet while I was still chasing my dream. I remember working at a car dealership. I was the top producer there, and I would go record a podcast every day at lunch in my car. And they would laugh at me like, oh, there's this fucking Ryan guy who thinks he's just going to be some kind of superstar preacher or some shit with his bullshit podcast deal. They laughed at me, man. They laughed at me till one day I was in there. It was like 9:30 at night, and a customer was with one of the other sales guys. And the customer told the sales guy, something. Sales guy comes over to me. He goes, you know that dude over there? I was like, I don't know him. And he goes, he asked if you own this place. And I was like, really? Why would he ask that? He said, if you don't, you will, because you have made many agents in his office millionaires many times over. And he knows who you are because people still talk about you in your office, even though you haven't worked with them for the last 6 years. And he was wondering where the hell you've been. Should I tell him you were in prison or not? And I was like, I don't really care. And they all laughed at me. They're like, dude, you just got all these stories and shit that you make. They were laughing at me. But that dude made me realize who I was. He reminded me of who I was. And I walked in and I told, fuck you guys, I'm out of here. And I left the car business and I went all in.
What year was this?
This 2011.
2011.
No more. And I only worked there at the car dealership because at the time my wife was pregnant with my oldest son. And so I want to make sure that we had insurance. As an entrepreneur with Obamacare, you couldn't get insurance, right? And so I worked there to get insurance, and my kid had already been, he was already born, and I wanted to spend time with him, and they were keeping me away from him anyway. And that dude reminded me, and I just sat it down and went all in with online social media and digital marketing and everything else. And it hadn't always been rainbows and sunshine, but in 2015, I finally made 2015, I finally made, close to my first million in internet marketing in a year. I made about 800,000. 2016 did 2 million. Last year I did 5 million, and this year we'll do 10 million, and it's really taken off, man. I literally, within 10 years, I was released July 11th, 2008. Within 10 years of having it, like, I know there's guys out there like Ty Lopez, like I was sleeping on my couch for $47. Like, I don't know the validity to that story. Yeah. I literally walked out of prison's gates with $25 to my name, and the odds stacked against me to having a $25 million net worth, driving a Rolls Royce, living in a mansion, driving, a different McLaren every day of the week, have an office upstairs from my office that I'm in right now is Google's regional headquarters. I'm in the same office. I'm in one of the biggest offices in Dallas, Texas. I run a company that's doing millions of dollars a month, man. And all from just like flexing my hustle muscle. You know what I'm saying? Just like making sure that I stay focused, head down. And despite the odds, I beat them motherfuckers, man.
Man, that's a fucking inspiring story. That's for sure. That is that you can't go from, like, after hearing that story, people complain. Like, you kind of sit back and you're like, well, the fuck are you complaining about? Like, what do you
you say FYE, fuck your excuses, man.
There you go.
When people hit us up all the time, we just flip these poker chips to them, man. We give them to the employees when they're bitching about shit. We give them to our clients. Like, say that's our company motto, fuck your excuses, man. Like, if I can do it, you can do it, man. No matter what shape you're in, your odds are better than mine, and I'm still here. So what are you talking about,
Something caught. There are a couple of things. I mean, man, this conversation could go many ways, but there's a couple of things. You mentioned something about force of averages. I want to chat about that in just a minute, but before that, something is wired slightly differently in your brain to be able to put those blinders on and somehow crush everybody else. Like the ups and downs, most people, whatever happened to you, most people would just like, I'm going to stay down and I don't feel like getting up and that's it. And it's over. But like, what is your mindset? What was your mindset back in 2008 when you first got this mortgage, was that 2008? The mortgage, okay. What was your mindset there? It's like, I don't know shit about these mortgages. And somehow I've just made this first check. It's like, okay, now I'm going to go all in.
Oh,
now
that was 2003. That was 2000.
Oh, that was 2003.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had a mindset even since then. So I kind of want to know, let's go back a little bit in terms of, 2003, you already had that mindset. Yeah, you made some shitty decisions, but regardless of that, something was in your brain that if you attacked something, you won, because you haven't stopped. Yeah, you failed, you've gotten ups and downs, and the shitty decisions are, they're the shitty decisions, hence why you ended up in shitty situations. But regardless, there's something about how you think that allows you to kind of switch to another gear. Where does that come from?
Well, when I worked at the car wash, I was the best damn car wash dude in the business, and that was my focus, and when I sold drugs, only way I got caught was I overdosed. I died. So I've been dead. I've been adopted. I dropped out of school. There's all sorts of shit I didn't even tell you guys about. But the only way I got caught was I died. I tried cocaine one time in my life. I sniffed a line. I died. Right. Whoa. That was it. And my heart stopped. I guess me and cocaine, we ain't as cool as I thought we were. And some chick taught me into doing it. And I overdosed and flopped, and she called 911. They were like literally across the street from the apartment complex I lived in. The fire department they saved my life. The firemen are true heroes, man. They saved my life. And then I woke up the next morning chained to a hospital bed, and that was how they caught me. But man, I was, when I was a drug dealer, man, I was all in on the drug game too. I was 100% focused on, being a millionaire from the drug, thinking I was one of these guys from TV or a rap video or whatever the hell, right? And then when I got out, I realized that life wasn't for me, and I went all in on car washes. And then when I started the mortgage business, I went all in on that. And I didn't know until the last 2 years, really about the last year and a half, what it was, like what that mindset was. But I realized, and you mentioned the force of average, there's this thing on this planet, this algorithm the planet's run by, and the higher up you rise, the more you fuck the grading curve up for the stupid people and the poor people and everything else, right? And yep. So if like guys that beat the force of average, and a lot of times we'll say, oh, making money doesn't make you happy. We know a lot of people with money that are miserable, right? We know a lot of people who become sure. rich and they become miserable and stuff like that. And so there's this thing that's like, if you go, it's Newton's law of averages, for what goes up must come down, right? Mm-hmm. And so for every action, there's equal and opposite reaction, right? And so there's this gravity that pulls us off. So as we start to take off, gravity pulls you back towards being normal. If you're below par, it was easy for me to go to car washes to mortgages. It was easy because I was living below average. And then once I got above average, it started pulling me back down, basically telling me to know my role and know my place, right? And so for years, I'm like, how do I beat this wave? How do I stop this on and off and this on and off? Like, how do I stop that in my life? And I realized the biggest power, the biggest tool, the biggest weapon we're endowed with as human beings is not our muscles. It's not the fact that we have nuclear weapons or the fact that we're apex predators. It's focus. That's the one thing that saved me my entire life is focus. And I realized that focus is so powerful that everything on this planet is trying to keep you from being focused. We're distracted with social media. We're distracted with people's problems. We're distracted with people running in and out of your office. We're distracted with pop-ups on websites. We're distracted with advertisements. We're distracted with every morning. I know I'm going to wake up and there's going to be distractions. An employee's going to call in sick. A business deal is going to get fucked up. A customer's not going to be 100% happy. And I'm prepared for that every day. And I stay focused on my mission no matter what. Like, I operate with blinders. One of the ways that I do that is I keep a schedule at all times telling me where I need to be at every single moment of the day so that I'm never distracted. Right now, we're on here. I don't have Facebook pulled up. I don't have the stock market pulled up. I'm 100% present in this, giving everything that I have towards this, because focus is so important that everything's trying to keep you out of focus. People say, oh, I can multitask. You're wrong. 3% of the public can multitask. Unless you're a Mensa member that graduated from Harvard with a science in multitasking, you can't fucking do it. And it's a lie from the force of average. And people start 15 projects and they're like, I don't know why I can't get ahead. Well, you're not focused on one. Finish one fucking thing and then move on to the other. Because if you do a half-ass bunch of stuff, you know what you still got? A bunch of half-ass results, and you have a whole of nothing, right? And so focus is so important that people say, oh, I have ADD. which is basically a way for saying you can't focus, right? Then we take pills for it, and then the pills get us fucked up. We focus on the wrong shit, right? Like and ever since we're a kid, we're in class, and the teacher says he can't focus. Maybe your fucking class sucks, right? Maybe. Because we all know that we can focus, because if I go sit somebody in the Avengers movie that has ADD, they'll pay attention to every part of that movie.
Yeah,
I go put somebody in a Dallas Cowboy football game, they'll watch every moment of that football game if they like sports. So we know we can focus. It's just a matter of finding out what we need to focus on. Most of us try to focus on shit we don't like. I see people all the time that are trying to get into internet marketing health supplements that are overweight and out of shape and look like shit, right? Then I see people at the same time that are in great shape that know everything about working out. They're trying to sell sales training and they have no idea how to sell shit, right? We have people talking, nobody really finds their purpose on this planet. My purpose is to help everybody that comes into my wheelhouse win, no matter what. Whether you like me, whether you hate me, whether you can't stand me, or whether you're cheering me on, I want you to win. If nobody's told you in your lifetime, this week, today, tomorrow, next year, I want you to win. And that's what I'm all about. And that's my focus. And I've got blinders on. And I know that when I'm in focus, I get everything I want. For years, the car that I drive was the screensaver on the back of my computer. And I focused every day on how much money do I need to be in order to afford this thing. For years, there was piles of money that amounted to a certain dollar amount. It's like, how much do I need to do every single day to make sure I make $1 million a year? Turns out it's $2,600 a day. So it's not very much money in all reality. Yeah. Right? It's like, okay, so what I got to do to make sure that I get to 10 million a year, right? And like so on and so forth, man. And I get focused and I don't let anything distract me. There was actually somebody just trying to come through my door right when we started this. I turned around and fucking give them this, man. Don't come in here and fuck up my focus. When I worked from home, my wife knew not to come in my home office while it was work hours. When I work from home, my kids knew not to come in my home office from work hours. However, when I get home and when I get done with work, I'm 100% focused on my family. You see, there's 4 things that you can do to beat the force of average and live a perfect day every single day. Faith, family, finances, and fitness. Now, for me, I wake up every morning and I read my core values first thing. And that the core values aren't the things that you value. They're who you are, your values as a core human. Yep. And so I'm reminding myself who I am. I'm increasing faith in myself. A lot of people, when you say faith, family, finance, and fitness, I didn't make that up. It's nothing new. They think, oh, faith in God. And that's great if you have faith in some kind of God or deity or whatever you believe in. But really what you've got to have is faith in yourself, because if you don't have internal faith, believing that you can accomplish anything, you'll never accomplish anything. So I remind myself who I am as a human every morning. Next thing you do, even though I don't want to do it, I go to the gym. I have a torturous personal trainer who's a complete asshole, but he keeps me in good shape, right? Can't stand the dude, but he keeps me in good shape. And so I go in there and I get that knocked out. Then I come in here and I focus from 9 to 6 every day on my finances. Then when I leave here at 6 o'clock, I leave my phones with social media here in the office. I have my phone that I can communicate with my wife and everything else. I go home, I sit on the nightstand, I'm with my wife and kids, I'm present. I'm the dad I never had, right? Every day I turn around, do the same thing. Every day I focus on faith, family, finances, and fitness. And as long as I focus on accomplishing those things and I stay focused on making those 4 things happen every single day, the force of average can kiss my ass, man, because it can't stop me. And for the last 3 years, it's tried, man. It's tried to distract me with all sorts of shit. And it's getting pissed off at me because it's finding out that I'm an unstoppable human being because I've got this laser focus and I'm making sure that I hit every one of those fucking targets every day. Man, so I don't have a mic, but I'd fucking drop it right now if I did. Jesus, man. Okay, so I am still very curious though, because something is not clicking with me. Where does this come from? Like you know, there's people talk about this a lot. Like people say that they want to be focused and yeah, but like. I feel it through my camera. Like, you know, I feel that focus and that intensity by just talking to you. And that's why I'm always red.
I don't go red. So I don't have that problem. But where does it come from? Like what happened to you to kind of realize that like, no matter what I do, it's like focus and where does that come from? Because I know that also translates into sales and it translates into why you're so successful at selling and why you're able to coach people and produce some of the top salespeople in the world. But that comes from somewhere.
Yeah, so I'm not naturally good at anything, right? I just focus on what I want, and I don't say like I can't throw a football. Like I live down the street from a place called the Star. It's where the Dallas Cowboys training camp and all that shit is, and you can go at any given time, 24 hours a day, and play on the Dallas Cowboy field. They have a field for the public. And dude, even the little kids laugh at me when I play quarterback, right? I'm just like, I'm not, but I don't focus on sports. So that's not really my thing. I'm just there for fun for my boys, right? And they're like, dude, our dad sucks, but he'll be quarterback, right? So, but I'm not naturally good at anything. I work for it. And here's a couple things I'm going to give you guys. It's going to be like mind blowing for you. And I don't use that in a very light way. And I probably already dropped a couple mind bombs for you already. But remember this, you have to act your way into a feeling because you'll never feel your way into action, right? You may not want to focus, but if you start focusing, the feeling will follow, right? Like I don't want to get out of the bed at 5:30 every morning and go to the gym. I fucking hate the gym. I hate working out. I hate my trainer. I hate eating healthy. Today's my cheat day. I got some Chick-fil-A waiting for me when we're done. But like, I hate all that shit, right? But if I waited till I felt like doing that shit, guess what? It would never happen. And so I do it. But you know what happens when I get in the gym? I get loosened up. I get ready to go. I get a couple of reps in of whatever I'm doing. Then I start to feel good, right? I start to feel it. I start to push it, right? On Monday, I squat 2 reps at 325 pounds, man. You know, and I didn't feel like putting all that weight on my back. That's no straps, no pads, no belt, no nothing. Just like getting it, man. And that shit feels like shit. But I'm acting my way into the feeling because that's how you get results. The next thing is I live and die by a schedule. Every single, I was upset that I was 3 minutes late to this interview, and I apologized immediately because I live on a schedule, man. You know, and the last guy, he ran a little bit over because I get delivered good value and shit like that. And even when we were on here, the first thing I said is, how long do we have on here? Because I have an appointment at 4. Yep. I live and die by a schedule. And a lot of people say, oh, well, that sounds great, Ryan, but how do I know that I'm focused on my schedule? First of all, I leave it up all day long on one of my computer screens so that I can look at it at any given point and ask myself, am I focused? Am I focused? Am I knocking these tasks out? And people say, well, there's not enough hours in the day. Good. Add it to your schedule tomorrow. I don't have it tomorrow. Then open slots on Thursday, open slots on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is, man. I live and die by a schedule. And if it ain't on my schedule, it don't happen. I had a dude earlier paid me $1,500 for an hour consultation. He said, when can I come to your office? I said, October 25th. Christ, why so long? My calendar's backed up, man. That's the only time where I'm actually going to be in Dallas, in my office, and the ability to actually sit down and give you an hour of my time, take it or leave it. And I'm focused, and I'm not going to let the need for money, which thank God I don't have, but I'm not going to let the need for money or the need for significance or the need for somebody else's distract my focus, because as soon as I let the force of average distract my focus just a little bit, then it's just like everything else, man. The next thing you know, give an inch, take a mile, right? Yep. And you say, okay, so how do I stay on top of that calendar? You can set multiple alarms in your phone every day, and you can turn them on. Like, say you turn on one at 10 o'clock, one at 2 o'clock, and one at 5 o'clock, and an alarm can say, am I focused? So you hear your phone go off, and you look at it, and it's the alarm, and it's asking you, are you focused? You're like, oh, shit, am I? Because we get on Facebook, and like even with Facebook, I have something called the newsfeed eradicator. So when I log on to Facebook, I only do it from a desktop. I don't do it from mobile phones unless I'm live streaming or unless I'm in the office, because I don't want to scroll the newsfeed because the newsfeed is a distraction. My job on social media is to get you to my page, right? And I control the content on my page. For lack of a better phrase, I don't give a fuck what you say on my page, what you say on your page, unless you're my client. I'm monitoring to make sure that you do the right stuff, which I have all that shit saved so I can go in and check my clients and hold them accountable and make sure that they're doing their stuff. I can go in my groups and all that, but I don't see a news feed, because when I'm on Facebook, I'm there to make a post, inspire people, make an offer, and get the hell out of there and go back to following my schedule, right? Same thing on Instagram, same thing on LinkedIn, any of those other sites, right? And so I'm 100% focused at all time. And I have trained myself, my staff, my wife, my kids, my friends, everything, that there are no emergencies in this business. I'm not a heart surgeon. Nobody's going to go, if I don't get a lead tonight, get my funnel right tonight, we're going to die, right? It's like, dude, it can wait a day or 2 or 3 or whatever it needs in order for me to stay focused. And if it's that important, I can call another person and have them rearrange their schedule and put that person in there. But man, I'm on time slots every single day, and I'm 100% focused and nothing else. Like my phone, it's always off. Like when I say off, there's no ding, there's no ring, there's no nothing to distract me. There's no junk sitting around my desk. There's no clutter. Like, look, man, there's like, dude, my desk has 2 pieces of spiral where I write notes and my pen in a phone, right? Like, dude, I keep everything in my life super OCD, clean, super distraction free, because I know everything that the force of average has to do is to try to take my focus away from me. And so I've done everything I can do to fight that motherfucker by making sure that I'm focused at all times.
What are your core values?
I'm kind of passionate about this.
I could tell, man. I could tell, and I'm
Slightly.
with you, man. This is incredible. What are your core values? You say you wake up every morning and you remind yourself of your core values. What are they?
I'll read them to you right now, man, and I'll explain them to you real quick, right? So number 1 is focus on my supporters, not the reporters. See, reporters, man, they report shit about you. They talk behind your back. If you watch CNN, they talk about Trump all day long. They're reporting on somebody else, right? Yep. If you go on Facebook, I got haters, right? Just like anybody else, right? I don't have a whole lot, but I got a few just like anybody else. And I don't focus on those motherfuckers because they're distractions.
Yep.
Well, I focus on the people that support me, right? My clients, my friends, my family, the people I love, the people I'm inspiring, people like you. I face my fears and forget anger is number 2. Anger is not an emotion. Fear is. The only reason we get mad is because we're scared we're going to miss out on something. We get mad when an employee leaves because we're scared we might lose money or he might take our business. We get mad when a girl breaks our heart because we're scared that we may not be able to find love again. We get mad when someone steals money from us because we're scared that we may not be able to get money back again. And I realized, because I had anger issues for forever, that I'm not angry, I'm scared. But as a tough guy, as a bravado dude with like big arms and everything else that weighs 210 pounds and all this stuff that's been to prison, I can't let people know I'm scared. They'll think I'm weak. Yeah. Right. And so I created this like exterior. That's how I got the name, the Hardcore Closer. Right. But then I realized about a year ago that, hey, man, really all along, I'm just scared. I'm not angry. I'm just scared. And once I embraced that, I realized that I love myself first. If I don't love me, then how can I love anybody else? If I don't love me, how can I love the audience? If I don't love me, how can I love my clients, my family, anything else? I think abundantly. Every time somebody leaves, every time money goes, every time something happens, something better's shown up. I've been married 4 fucking times. 3 wives have left me, divorced me. I've never left any of them. They say I'm a workaholic, I'm too intense and everything else. And I wish them ladies nothing but the best. But man, I have the best wife on the planet right now. I finally got focused on finding someone who fit my needs. And guess what? That person exists. And we've been together for 5 years now, right? So I think abundantly. I show up in all 4 areas of my life: faith, family, finance, and fitness every day. Family of choice is greater than family of origin. My family of origin sucks. And my parents, the people gave birth to me, they gave me up. Like I don't talk to my grandparents. I don't talk to anybody. I got no family, but I have a family of choice. I've got friends and a wife and kids that I chose to bring into this world, that I chose to be a part of my life. And that's what's important to me. I honor everyone who's honorable. If you're an honorable person, I will honor you. You're an honorable person, I will honor you, right? I live and let leave. If somebody leaves, if something leaves, if money flies away, if I lose money on a deal, I just keep living, man, because I'm going to get some more. And that reverts back to thinking abundant. I deserve what I have. A lot of us get shit and we don't think we deserve it, right? You ever had the perfect woman in your life and then you lost her? You ever made a bunch of money and you lost it? I just gave you a shitload of examples in my own personal life. So I deserve what I have. And if I know at the core I deserve the things that I have, then I'll actually keep the damn things, right? I be the man that I look up to. That's another one. I want to be the person that I would look up to for my kids, for my clients, for the audience that follows me, for the people that I'm inspiring around the world. The next one, you're going to love this: no distractions. The next one on top of that, I focus. These are who I am as a core human being. These aren't the affirmations. These are reminders of who Ryan Stewman is every day. The next one, you're going to love this too: I pay attention to details. Salespeople all the time say, I don't pay attention to details, I'm in sales. Or I don't pay attention to details, blah, blah. I do, and I got to remind myself that every day. This is my favorite one: don't be the asshole first. I can be quite the asshole, as you can imagine. Don't be the asshole. I'm not the asshole first, ever. Never am I the asshole first. I'm a good fucking second asshole. You better believe that.
I'm a better asshole, but I'm never first.
Yeah. I see your asshole and shall raise you, but right. The next one is confidence over cockiness, right? So I pay attention to details: confidence over cockiness. Treat yourself, right? If I want something nice for myself, a nice Rolex, a Rolls Royce, like I just bought a mansion, I should treat myself. I've worked hard all my life. I deserve it. I wrote an article in Entrepreneur a couple years ago, what it's like when you really become a millionaire. And I was like, I drive an Infiniti I pay $300 a month for. I rent an apartment and I have a Fitbit as a watch and I wear a $20 shirt. I'm still that guy. I'm wearing $30 jeans. Like I'm still that guy. But I started treating myself with shit that I like. I deserved a nicer home. I deserve to wear a nice watch. I deserve cars. I'm really a car guy. I like cars. I have 2 McLarens, a Rolls Royce, an Escalade, a big jacked up pickup truck. I'm about to trade the McLarens for an even faster McLaren. Like I'm a car guy, right?
You're giving that McLaren away, right? For phone sites?
Yep. If somebody wins it, they got to qualify for it. But if somebody wins it, we damn sure gonna give it to them. And have patience for the less informed. You know, as internet marketers, people hit us in the DM and we're like, that's a fucking stupid question. And forever that shit drove me crazy. But I gotta have patience for those people. They don't know what I know and I can help them know more. And so I gotta remind myself that I'm a person that has patience for people that don't have the information that I do. If it's not done with integrity, I don't do it. If you can count on me is another one. And then because of that, I hold people accountable for their words and their actions. I make my own moves. Nobody controls Ryan Stewman but me. I identify my weaknesses and improve them daily, and I'm focused on nothing but mastery. Those are my core values that I read every single morning. As soon as I wake up, I grab the phone, read my core values, and then I get up and I start the rest of my day doing the things that we do.
Do you read them out loud?
Fuck yeah, because here's what you do. You have to say what you see so you can hear what you say. Your mind is programmed. Your voice is the voice that your mind loves the most. Yep. And so that voice that comes out, so like when you have a vision, you have to speak that vision into life because words are life. You have to speak that vision into life and then your ears hear it. They program your subconscious and it's this full circle of sensory that allows you to remind yourself who you are every day. You have to say what you see so you can hear what you say. I'm full of all sorts of sayings.
This is fire, man. All right, so I'm conscious of your time and I know we got just roughly 10-ish minutes. So I want to try to wrap all of this up and take all of this stuff that you've just dropped on us. And now let's bring it to sales and let's bring it to the mindset of what it takes to sell. And because a lot of people are afraid to sell. A lot of people don't like selling. You're clearly good at it and you know how to. So where does that mindset come in? And let's talk about the process.
Well, I know your Funnelytics program, and so I want to help those people out, right? I talked all this stuff about all this mindset and all this like winning shit, and so we can make that shift. And this is really what I wanted to tell your people all along anyway. It's that in the Navy, they have a saying, keep it simple, stupid. And in sales, I say keeping it simple sales. The more complex you make things, the harder it is for a human being to make a decision. And a human being only wants to make the decision whether or not they want to buy your stuff. Mm-hmm. And so salespeople, even right now, as I'm telling all this stuff, they're going, oh, I can't be that simple. He's just over here giving us like elementary shit, like get a calendar or set an alarm. You know what? The more simple it is, the easier it is to implement, the easier it is to make a decision on. And so in sales, people like I watched mortgage guys forever start talking about the bond market and how interest rates work. And I'm like, bro, nobody gives a fuck about that. You know what they want? They want a house.
Yep.
Keep it simple. Sell them the house. You buy money from me, I'll get you the house that you want. It's that damn simple, you know? And that's why I made so much money in it. Now, flash forward to internet marketing. Everybody thinks you have to have the latest, greatest widget, right? When they're mapping out funnels on your software, they're going, okay, we're going to put a countdown timer here. And okay, we're going to put an ever webinar here. We're going to do this thing in ClickFunnels. We're going to do this. And we're going to give this flash and pop up, spin the wheel, blah, 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 all this shit. And then unless you sell to other internet marketers, which is a tough racket in itself, right? But sell to the general public sees all that shit and goes, well, fuck, that's a lot of decisions to make. And a lot of overwhelming information. I'm just not going to do anything. And then they're like, man, I got this badass funnel that I built and it just doesn't convert. It's because you've got too many damn decisions and too many distractions for the customer to actually look at and make the decision of whether they might want to do business with you or not. See, I have a product that we sell called Phone Sites. We launched about 90 days ago. We got 3,000 users on there. It's $47 a month. And it's simple sales funnels that you can make in 5 minutes or less from your phone, because there's only two things besides the technology to capture that lead that matter when it comes to generating leads and making sales online. Number one, being inside the head of your audience. What do they want? Like I said, in the mortgage world, I understood nobody wanted a mortgage. Nobody ever rolled over in the middle of the night and goes, honey, we need a 6.5% or our life's going to end, right? But what they do is they roll over in the middle of the night and they go, honey, if we don't get a bigger or smaller house, XYZ circumstance is going to take place in our life, right? And so I understood that. So I was in the mind of that audience, and I'm not offering them low rates and low fees. I'm offering them an opportunity to get their dream home, right? Or the home that fits their needs, okay? And so you got to be in the mind of your audience and know what they want. And then the second part is the right offer, right? You need to put the right offer. So if you know what the audience wants, you have to make the offer that they want, right? And so if I'm selling to the public, I'm going to, and I'm a mortgage guy, the offer that I'm going to make is how to get houses at below cost and close within 30 days with no money out of pocket, because that's what everybody wants. And then as I get the lead in, I'm going to show them that that's possible. And if it's not possible for them, I'm going to give them an alternative, right? Here's what is possible for you in order to get your dream house at the way that you want it, right? And like when I sold cars, it was never about, the guy never just wanted a minivan, right? He had too many kids to fit in a pickup truck or too many kids to fit in a 4-door sedan. So he was forced to drive a minivan, right? Like the middle-aged dudes that went and bought these tricked out Mustangs, they didn't need a Mustang, right? They wanted to look cool so that maybe they could get like some pussy from a younger chick, you know what I'm saying? And I understood, and that's what I'm trying to ask them all along is like, what is it that you're really wanting? What made you decide to reach out? And what is it that you're wanting to accomplish on your goals here so that I can get inside their mind and start putting that offer together that leads them to close. So when people are mapping out their funnels, they're putting up sales, down sales, countdown timers, retargeting, and all that shit's great, right? But you really don't need it, right? The best thing you can do is put a squeeze page up.
No, you don't.
Standing offer, and they opt in, and then if they opt in, they buy something, or they opt in and go talk to somebody like you or one of your sales staff that can find out what their true needs are and figure out if your program can or can't help them, and how it may not help them if they decided to take action. It really is that simple. And like I say, keeping it simple sales, KISS, keeping it simple sales, keeping it confusion keeps you broke.
The funny thing is, it kind of goes back to the fear too. A lot of people, especially in this world of funnels and marketing, they love showing their complex funnels. They love taking screenshots of all of this stuff. Look at my complex funnel. It's going to work. It's going to do all this thing. And then when it actually comes time to do anything, they're afraid. They're afraid to actually launch. They're afraid to put their stuff out there. They're afraid to. So instead, they sit behind their computer and they build and they map these complex things and like, I know what I'm doing. And it's like, no, you don't, because you don't realize that all that matters is your customer, what they really want, and does your offer match? That's all that matters, right? And most people just, that's the problem with the internet. There's a lot of problems with the internet marketing space.
Because internet marketers are selling you internet marketing shit.
Yeah.
I'm a sales guy that's selling you stuff to make more sales.
Yep.
Right? I'm not selling you the latest widget, right?
Nope.
I'm not selling you the latest countdown time or the latest flash. Like internet marketing funnels have almost become like MySpace. Like you click on them and all of a sudden your mouse turns into a unicorn, Nickelback starts playing and shit like that. Like that's what they're really turning into.
Yeah.
But all the customer wants to do is go, I want to read some shit, see if I want to buy this shit, and then make a fucking decision and buy it without complex shit. I don't want to scroll 50 fucking pages and see a bunch of pictures and all that other stuff. I just want to make a decision on whether this is for me or not. And that's all that really matters. And man, that's what I've done with phone sites. I've dumbed all that down and I've made it super fast to where even if it doesn't work, you didn't spend months building it. You've spent minutes building it. And so if it doesn't work after a while, then you just turn right back around, build another one, and try it again and split test it that way.
Phonesites.com. Create your account, guys, because I haven't played with it, but I'm going to start playing with it because the fact that you could just build literally a page right here on the go with your phone without doing anything, that's so much easier. So much easier.
You can literally make a selfie video from your phone up and like all while, like, let's say that like in the time it takes to take a shit, you could build a selfie video from your phone, not on the toilet, that would be unattractive, and then upload it to YouTube, let YouTube process it, build the funnel with the video on it, and then run a Facebook ad all from your mobile device. You don't have to ever leave your phone to do this. Now it works on desktop too, and all those things work on desktop if you want to get fancy, you know what I mean? But you can do it all from your phone. Imagine being a real estate agent, pulling up to a house, taking a picture of a house, building the funnel right there on your phone real quick, walking in and going, this is how good of a marketer I am. The second I pulled up to your house, I built a website where we're going to capture leads of people who are interested in your home, and I'm going to call every one of them. Just go ahead and sign right here and be my customer. You know?
So a lot of the audience are marketers themselves. So can they sign up to phone sites and like resell it, or like use it as like an agency? Because this is an incredible tool, right? An incredible like service as part of as a marketer to add this on to your packages for your clients.
Yeah, man, we pay 40% residual income. So 40% every month, or annually. If they sign up annually, it's $47 a month. So that's roughly $20 a month and $180 a year that
Nice.
we pay out on it. And we pay every single month at the end of the month. And yeah, absolutely, man. You know, we're giving away a Rolex just like this. We're giving away a McLaren. There's some qualifications that have to be met. Like you can't just sell one or two and be the top guy and get it. There's some qualifications that have to be met, but we're giving away over $500,000 in prizes to affiliates that it ends in about 53 days, the contest right now. And we could use some heavy hitters. You know, most people are just using it. You know, like I tried to do this affiliate push and I hired this affiliate manager, and all of them wanted a free login and all of them wanted me to go through it. And it just became this huge waste of time. And I'm like, you know what, dude, if somebody wins it and they figure it out on their own, because I never been in the internet marketing space. Like I've been to Russell Brunson's house and I've been to Frank Kern's house, and I've paid for different groups like that. And I always felt like an outcast, one, because everybody asked me more questions than they did those guys every time I showed up at the thing. And I'm like, well, fuck, man, you know, I came to learn from y'all, and now all of a sudden I'm teaching you guys, you know, which is fine. You know, I like to give.
You guys are asking me questions.
It's like shit, you know, I paid $25,000 to teach their fucking people for them, you know, and more so Russell than Frank, you know, and again, I don't have anything against Russell whatsoever. I don't even consider ClickFunnels a competing product. It's so complex, and for internet marketers, it's not what I sell. I sell things for salespeople and the business owner that doesn't have time to learn things like ClickFunnels, right? Yeah. And so you know, all these internet marketers have never embraced me because I'm very real and I'm very raw and I'm very abrasive and very upfront, and I don't like, hi everybody, glad to be on here, thanks for having me, oh everything's perfect, rainbows and sunshine, talk to God today, I'm sitting in my living room, he was telling me how awesome of a human I am. And I intimidate a lot of them because I'm just like, they're like, a lot of them are like, what if this motherfucker finds out what we're really up to? Because, man, I can spot bullshit miles away. I was in penitentiary for 4 years of my life. I know what bullshit looks like, you know, and I'm good with math because I did math, and I know what everybody makes because I did 1,500 mortgage applications and financial packages in my life from people who everything from owning multi-million-dollar businesses to people that were on a W-2 income, barely qualifying for an FHA home. So I can look at anybody and listen to the numbers they tell me and go, yeah, that's bullshit, right? And so like a lot of people have never invited me into that circle because let's just be honest, not everybody, but a good majority of people in that circle are bullshitting in one way or another, right? And that's why the FTC investigates so many of us in this field. We hear almost every week about another big ass like, you know, company like Moby, or even Frank Kern had to go through that shit a long time ago, right? We're like, the FTC is always looking into people because there's so much bullshit out there. And so I've never been in that affiliate space. I've always been just this self-made dude. You know, I don't have any business partners. I don't have any investors. I bootstrapped my entire life from that $25, man.
Wow, that's when you say it like that. This conversation keep going. You got to go. I know, but just. What's the biggest, let's leave it at this. What's the biggest kind of takeaway? I mean, you just said like you bootstrapped all of this from $25. Looking back where you are now, where you come from, and the journey you've been on, like what's the one thing that you can sit back and be like, man, this is like, I never expected this. I never like, what is kind of that thing that you can look back on and you're like, I'm proud. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of everything that I've done outside of everything.
The biggest thing that I'm proud of is being the dad I never had. You
Nice.
know, and how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you show up for your family, you'll show up in your business. If you show up in your fitness, you'll show up in your faith. You'll show up everywhere that way. But the thing I believe that's like really that thing that's kept me going. The biggest gift that I've had is I don't have a safety net. I don't have I do at this point if I needed it, but I never had a family that could loan me money. Matter of fact, I bought them houses. I you know, did all sorts of shit for them. I was that provider for my parents and all this stuff. You know, I never had a safety net. And so I had to make it work, or it was, you know, shit, back to the thug life, wind up back in prison again. And I was not going to fucking go back there. So if there was something I have to look back at, say that I'm proud of, I'm proud that I stuck to it. And even when it was hard, I still made it work because I had no choice. My hand was forced. But I'm proud that I never made the decision to go back to the dark world, and I made the decision to stay in the light. And the second thing that I'm most proud of is I don't do anything or talk any way behind closed doors that I don't do in the public. There ain't shit that I say to my friends. There ain't shit that I say to my employees. There ain't shit that I've said to anybody anytime that if they screenshot it, put it on Facebook, I wouldn't give a fuck. Because if I didn't want the entire world to see it, I wouldn't say it, you know?
Nice.
And then I can tell you, I sleep really good at night because of that.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Nobody has dirt on me. Nobody. Because I've already said it myself. I'm Eminem at the end of 8 Mile. Drop the mic. What the fuck you going to say now, Papa Dot?
Exactly.
I've already said it all. What you going to say now?
I've already said it all. There you go. Man, that's I really appreciate you taking the time and joining us. So phonesites.com. Where else can people find out more and just consume? I know you have a podcast. Drop everything. Tell them what they need.
So phonesites.com, obviously. And if you want to learn about it, you can go to training.phonesites.com. You get a free training. We give away $8,100 in coaching and bonuses and stuff that come along it. And even if you don't buy it, you still get all those bonuses, but you'll like it, especially once you get to the end of that training. Hardcore Closer on Instagram at Hardcore Closer. That's where I spend the majority of my time. I'm real Ryan Stewman. That's my actual personal page, which is where I spend most of the time here on Facebook. I run the largest sales group on Facebook, Sales Talk with Sales Pros. And so you can join there. It's absolutely free. There's like 80,000 people in there. We're the biggest sales focused group on Facebook. And really that's it, man. You know, I've got a Hardcore Closer Facebook fan page, but if you follow me on Instagram, you'd be good enough. And then I have hardcorecloser.com with over 1,100 blog posts. And so, you know, all my podcasts, all my videos, all that stuff, that's my hub where everything's at. So I recommend, you know, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, sign up over at hardcorecloser.com and consume the content over there. Use the search bar. You'll never find everything on there. So use the search bar and type in what you're looking for. Chances are I've got something there. If not, send me a direct message and go, hey, you should write an article on this, and I will.
Nice. Well, Ryan, man, I appreciate you very much. Everyone watching, I know they appreciate you as well. It's right at 4:00 your time, so I know you got to go and you have another meeting.
Stay focused.
Got to stick to that schedule, brother. You guys make sure. So, thank you very much. I appreciate you. You're a good man, and I'm gonna keep following. I'm gonna keep watching.
Yeah, let me know if I can help you in any way, dude. Thanks again for letting me be on here.
Cheers, buddy. Peace.
Later.